During the same time conducting investigations into Edmund, Naomi, and Rachel, many other encounters were taking place. When a spirit gives you information and you look into what they are telling you, this causes a chain reaction. One event leads to another event. One road leads to another road, but these roads are all connected in the same spirit realm. What these spirits say causes a domino effect into these paranormal encounters. I have reached a conclusion, no doubt there is a portal within this house. Multiple names are coming up. The encounters with spirits intensify. It's as if a door opened up and... When I learned who Edmund Lamb was, I also learned who his wife was, which was Hattie. And he had a daughter named Edna and a son named Gladwin. This answers why Hattie's name came up all the time. And eventually Edna's name comes up quite a bit. Everything that's shown in these videos, everything these spirits say, eventually connects these pieces of the puzzle together. Everything will make sense. At this point in time, there's no doubt there are some angry spirits here. And a lot of them seem angry at Edmund. Does Rachel have anything to do with this kitchen at all? During the investigations into Rachel and Naomi in the beginning, a lot of other names were coming up. What's your name? When my granddaughter Kaylee came to this house to visit with us, she did hear some of the things that were going on in this house. She heard disembodied voices, and she definitely heard strange sounds. She wanted to be a part of these investigations. During this time, we were experiencing simple ghost encounters. At least so we thought. When I say simple ghost encounters, I'm talking about knock sounds, faint disembodied voices, or other strange sounds that couldn't be explained. However, things will take a turn. What the... I'm sitting here on the porch looking at this apparition of a young girl face to face. It's hard to tell on camera. This young girl has long blonde hair, blue eyes, and she appeared to be trying to tell us something. I watched her as she looked back and forth, first at Kaylee, then she looks over at me. She slowly disappeared as if she faded into her reality. In these screenshots, you can clearly see her facial features. Her eyes, her nose, her mouth, and her long blonde hair. This will not be the last time we see this young female apparition. Then another apparition shows up.
For many months, this apparition showed up at the house looking through the window at us. His visits were so frequent, we ended up giving him a name. Shadow Dude. No, he's not a shadow apparition, but at the time I didn't know what to call him.
It's actually nothing there. Whoa, Shadow Dude just came back. Yep, Shadow Dude's right there. He's smiling. Shadow Dude, what's your name? What's so funny? Can you see Shadow Dude at all without the screen?
No.
Even if the card went by, he doesn't disappear at all. Shadow Dude, what's your name?
Tell us your name.
After looking at Shadow Dude for quite some time, I go around to the front of the house to see if I could see him outside the window. This was captured. A dark figure walked away from the front window where Shadow Dude was seen. I did not see this with the naked eye. This could only be seen on the camera. If I saw this in real time, there would have definitely been a reaction on my part. A few nights later, the girl with the blonde hair was captured outside the porch window in a still shot. She appeared to be wearing clothing from the late 1800s to early 1900s. After Kaylee came to the house to experience this activity, it's possible this child spirit attached herself to Kaylee. At Kaylee's home on Fuller Road, we celebrated Kaylee's birthday. While taking pictures of Kaylee, a clear apparition of a young female with blonde hair was captured. We carefully examined this photo. First, there was nobody in the house that resembled the hair and face of this girl. Second, it would be impossible this was somebody's reflection from across the room. The birthday bags would have been in the way, blocking this reflection from somebody in the room. We concluded, no doubt, this is the apparition of a young girl with blonde hair. A few days later, my daughter told me she saw an apparition of a young female. She was wearing older style clothing, walking from one room to another in the home. During this time, we did not realize the severity of these encounters.
Can you hear me? Do you know who Kaylee is?
But after this incident, we put a stop to Kaylee doing investigations. Since then, my daughter moved from this home and out of Carmel. They had no other encounters after moving from this home. However, once again I encountered this young female. While conducting an investigation in the garage, she appeared briefly in front of the camera. I felt this apparition touch me as she moved in front of me. This was a feeling as if long hair brushed against the skin of my face and my arm. She stopped for a split second in front of the camera, as if to pose for a picture. This was not a full-body apparition. You couldn't see her legs. Her head was above the camera view. She's wearing what appears to be a fancy dress, with fancy sleeves. Her arm is visible coming down her side. She appears to be holding something in her hand. Her movement was fast, but she stopped long enough to be seen. A split second after she takes off, an EVP of her voice was captured. She said, "Hey," and another EVP was captured. Hello? Hello? Anybody up here? Hello? What? Hello? Hello? Hello?
About 3 years after Kaylee stopped doing investigations, we went back and looked at the very first video she was in, and we saw something in there that was very strange.
What we saw in this video completely astonished us. Kaylee was sitting on my bed. I no sooner turned the cell phone camera on, the video freezes up, and immediately the tapping started. When I turned the camera around to the dresser where the tapping sounds came from, something very strange was captured. This.
Hi.
Did you hear that?
I did.
We didn't see this during the time of the recordings, and this looked to be frozen in time, just hovering in front of the window. I have no idea what this is. And there appears to be a small dark figure sitting behind whatever this is. More often, strange anomalies are captured on camera. I have no explanation what this is. It's rather large, big, and dark. I did not see this while recording, and I'm not necessarily claiming this is an apparition. I don't know what this is. Is there a child in here? Is a child looking for Kaylee? Are you in this bathroom? I did not see this in the chair. In fact, I never pointed this out in the original video released because I didn't notice this when putting the video together. Viewers pointed this out to me. When I took a look at this, I was wondering how I could have missed this. I can say with certainty this is a small apparition, the size of a small child, and there's something strange on the table in front of it. It looks like this apparition is touching whatever this is on the table. I am really glad I don't always see things like this in real time, because when you do see things like this in real time, encounters like this can cause such a deep burning fear in your chest, you never really get over the encounter. You just learn to live with it and move on.
Oh, fuck!
EVP sound.
Oh, my fucking son of a bitch! Oh, my God!
I can say with much certainty, this is the reflection of an apparition standing behind me way back in the living room. I'm too close to the window on the door for this to be my reflection. I didn't see this during the recording, but when I saw this in the recording, this gave me a real eerie feeling. How many times there's spirits in a room with me, and I didn't realize they were there? And is it possible glass or mirrors reveals their reflections? Does the camera lens pick up things the human eye cannot see?
To this day, when I walk up the steps and open this bedroom door, my heart's literally pounding because I have no idea when I open up that door what's going to happen. Is there going to be an apparition standing there? Is there going to be a loud disembodied voice right in my face? I cringe every time I open up this bedroom door. When I use the bathroom at night and I come back into this room, when I open that door, I just expect to see something. I know that there's going to be something there. The majority of the time there's not. There are times when I'm walking through this house, I'm not doing any investigations, we're just living normal life. I assume I'm alone in the house. Well, my daughter's a quiet little mouse. I mean, you can't even tell when she's walking in this house because she's so light-footed. There are times I come around a doorway and there she's standing, and it literally scares the crap out of me. It startles me because in that split second, I thought she was an apparition standing there. And there's times my wife suddenly came around a corner and she scares the crap out of me. That's what happened when I ran into these apparitions. Because you just never know when one's going to appear. And you're always walking through this house with your guard up, expecting the unexpected. I start performing tests in this house to get answers, to verify that there are certain things that can trigger this paranormal activity. So I start doing tests.
All right, somebody gave me an idea of turn the TV on to the static and see if you can get white noise or something in the image. I don't know if it'll work, but we'll give it a try, and then I'll ask it questions. Can you use this TV to communicate through? What the hell was that? Hello? Hello?
After hearing these loud footsteps, when I got to the bottom of those steps, there's no way in hell I was going up those steps walking into this bedroom. I just didn't want to face whatever that was. Was I scared? Yes. I won't deny the fact that I was scared. When you hear sounds like that, when they're that loud, and you hear a loud bang like that, it sounds like something's angry. It's something that I don't want to face. And if I would have ran up those steps and opened up that door, and there was an apparition standing there, the fear in my chest already from that loud bang, that apparition would have done me in. That's it. My heart would have gave up. There are some things that goes on in this house that's just better off left unknown. You don't want to know. Now, when the energy levels went way up in this house, some people thought maybe it was old wiring. A lot of people have commented on my EMF meter in this house and the K2 meter. Possibly reacting because of the old wiring system in this house. We'd had a power outage before, and the K2 meter and the EMF meter still reacted the same, whether the power was on to the house or off. So I'm going to demonstrate a little test here. And I'm going to demonstrate how when I cut the main breaker off to this house, there's no change to the EMF meter or the K2 meter. They both react the same whether the power's on to this house or not. The EMF meter there by the lamp, and I got this recorder going here. I'm going to leave this door wide open, so when I'm down in the basement, I'm going to yell and let you know I'm shutting it off. I'm going to set the HD camera up right here. Alright, just to show that there's nothing strange there. This goes up into the yellow and stays in the yellow. I'm going to set that right there. And I got this camera recording here. Alright, so now I'm going to go down to the basement. And I'm going to turn the power off to the house, the main breaker. I hate going down in this basement. Alright, so here's the main breaker. I'm shutting it off! I'm shutting it off! Leave it off for a couple minutes. And there we go. That is still on. And the K2 meter upstairs is still reacting. I'm sorry, the EMF meter. No change at all. Alright, so I'm going to go turn the power back on. Yeah, crap. Should have got my flashlight. It's much darker down here than what it looks like on the camera. Ouch. Turning it back on! Turning it back on! After I conducted this EMF meter test, I came up to the bedroom later that day and I heard some strange voices coming out of the closet. I could actually hear them talking. It was like an audible voice. I couldn't really hear what they were saying, but I hit record on the camera. Somebody in here?
A few minutes later, I hear loud disembodied voices coming from upstairs. These voices are coming from the closet. I quickly turn record on.
Can you hear me? Did you just say Kent? Hello? Hello? Is that you talking? But then there's a problem with these spirits waking us up at night. All night long. Bang sounds, footsteps, voices. It wakes you up out of a dead sleep. No pun intended. We have to sleep with the TV on and we have to sleep with the fan up on high because it's so loud. They make sounds and talk and bang all the way up till the early morning hours. One night it woke me up. I went down to use the restroom and I carried my cell phone with me. I decided when I got out of the bathroom I was going to hit record. that same early morning hour at 4 a.m., once again they woke me up. I'm kind of like, wow, can't you guys wait until I at least have my morning coffee?
4 a.m.
So I finally reached a point, okay, something needs to be done about this. I need to say something to these spirits. They need allowed to sleep in the night.
Well, I do a test here. I lay down in my bed here. I turn on a TV show because I always go to sleep watching a TV show at night. And I do this test to see if they're going to respond to me at all, if they listen to my instructions about not bothering me when I'm trying to sleep at night. However, this is an interesting test that I did because the outcome of it was kind of amazing. Now, if you listen to this closely, you'll see that when I don't ask any questions at all, there's hardly any responses on the spirit box. Do you guys like interrupting my sleep at night, some of you? I know some of you like to try to get my attention when I'm asleep at night, but got to get my sleep, you know. Okay? Is there anybody in here? Is Rachel here? Okay, who's touching my head? Alright, I'm going to sleep. Good night, Rachel.
Some of these spirits complied, some did not. Up to this day, they still make a lot of noise through the night into the early morning hours, all day long, into the night, into the early morning hours, repeatedly, day after day after day. But we finally reached a point we got used to it. The sounds and the disembodied voices became second nature. But the really loud disembodied voices right in your face and the apparitions and the really bizarre, strange, loud sounds, that's something you never get used to. These are things about this activity that's always startling. You can never get used to stuff like that. There's no way. Because when this activity picks up like that, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know where the activity is going to take you to next. I continue doing investigations. I'm getting ready to head into the basement. Spirits are going to say things that, once again, is dark. Once again, multiple spirits will be saying things that we have to pay close attention to because they're trying to tell us something. Because there's so many spirits, they do talk about different subjects, but there's something these spirits said during this investigation that definitely caught my attention.
During the investigations into Rachel and Naomi, there were a lot of other things these spirits talked about, topics that would eventually lead me down other roads. And there was something about the basement some spirits didn't want me to know about. Maybe an entity wants to scare me out of the basement. Maybe other spirits were warning me to leave the basement for my safety. But when I walked down the steps into the basement, I hear the voice of something that I knew wasn't human. I know I've heard your disembodied voices today. Are you trying to talk to me? Hello? Edmund Lamb? Are you down here? All right, I'm in the total dark. Hello? Edmund Lamb? Who's down here tonight? Are you right in front of me? Hello? You need to get back from me. Patty Lamb, are you here by chance? Well, I heard that loud and clear. Why do you want me to get out? So are you wanting me to get out of this basement? Something just doesn't want me down here for some reason or another.
Naomi, can you hear me? Patty? During these investigations since the very beginning, there is a specific name that kept coming up over and over again, outside of Rachel, Naomi, and other names that were coming up. What's your name?
When I found Naomi Mitchell's murder online, there was also another murder in Carmel that came up. In 1977, a man at the T&N trailer park strangles his wife to death. Her name is Jennifer, who went by Jenny.
Is Jenny in here?
Is this the same Jenny I'm encountering? The same Jenny these other spirits bring up? Out of curiosity, I go to the T&N trailer park. Since 1977, the park has been vacated and piles of debris lay on the grounds.
This is where Jenny was murdered.
This is
where Jenny was murdered back in 1977. Hello? I definitely heard a disembodied voice.
I was really surprised I heard disembodied voices at this location. This was completely unexpected. When I go back to my car, I hear more disembodied voices. I set up the camera and start recording. The PSB7 spirit box was also in my camera case. Hello? Hello? What the hell was that? You know what? There's something on this dashboard that just moved. This car's totally off. It's been shut off for the last 15 minutes. Something moved in this car. Are you sitting in this car with me? Hello? I heard that. During this time, I didn't know exactly where Jenny was murdered at this location. I later learned the location right next to where the car's parked is the exact location where Jenny was murdered. And I also couldn't help but wonder, is Rachel following me?
After doing the investigation at the TNN trailer park, and after listening to what these spirits were saying, the dots finally connected. I finally understood what was going on with some of these spirits. These were young teens and young adults who committed suicide.
Kevin, a former resident of this house, while in high school, knew of a number of local friends and others who committed suicide in 1 year. He said it was a chain reaction. One friend, then another, and another. Since I've lived in this house, I know of 3 teens and 1 young adult who committed suicide. I find it very troubling in such a small community. So many teens and young adults have taken their lives. Without a doubt, suicide is one of the hardest types of deaths to deal with. And in a lot of cases, it's hard to understand why somebody would take their own life.
Is there anybody that I know that I went to school with that committed suicide that's still around? Hasn't passed on yet? Can you tell me what your name is?
For privacy reasons, I never showed the full investigation conducted into Logan. Logan was in fact a suicide victim. During the investigation, Logan didn't want to live anymore. He stated he wanted to commit suicide. Logan ended his life due to depressions he was going through in life. He did not believe there was an afterlife. After ending his life, he found he was still alive. Only now, he's stuck in another realm. He was able to communicate with me through the portal in this house.
What's your name?
Quite a few months after encountering Logan, I no longer heard Rachel's voice in this house. In fact, these spirits stopped bringing up Rachel's name. After 3 weeks went by and not hearing Rachel's voice, I conducted an investigation and asked these spirits where Rachel was. Rachel. How come I haven't heard from you lately? How come I haven't heard from you lately? What? What? Heaven? Heaven? She made it? Is that what you just said? Can you verify that, please? Is Rachel pass on into a better place? Did I have anything to do with Rachel moving on? These spirits said she was gone, that she's in peace. One even said she went to heaven. And I was like, what? That did confirm why I didn't hear from Rachel anymore. And if what these spirits are saying was true, I was definitely happy for Rachel that she was in peace and that she was happy. But in all honesty, there's also a side of me that was kind of sad, because Rachel was the first ghost in this house that got my attention. Every day I would hear her disembodied voice. Every day I had encounters with her, and it was almost like she was just part of the family. And when they said she was gone, I kind of felt like a family member packed up their bags and moved away. I didn't know if I'd ever hear from her again. I don't understand the spirit realms. I don't know how this works, but I couldn't help but wonder, will I ever encounter Rachel again? In a lot of ways, I kind of felt alone in this house without Rachel, because I was so used to hearing from her. I was so used to her being a part of these investigations. I was so used to the encounters. It took me a while to adjust to this. Eventually, I do adjust to it, and I continue on with the investigations. Many, many months after I'd no longer heard from Rachel, I have another encounter with a suicide victim. And this encounter was very sad. Is there anybody here right now that committed suicide? Ryan? Ryan, you said you need help. Can you verify to me who you are, so I know for sure who I'm talking to? Ryan, were you trying to end your pain and suffering and you didn't realize that there's an afterlife? Ryan, I don't want you to suffer in the afterlife. I want you to let go of all your pain and sorrows. I want you to find peace. I want you to find peace. All of a sudden, something happened that completely blew me away. Out of nowhere, to my complete shock, Rachel showed up.
This is the first time I heard Rachel's voice since she moved on into peace. This investigation into Ryan went on most of the day. He told me a lot of things, and I said a lot of things to him that was never released in any video. He 100% confirmed who he was and what happened to him. What was so amazing about this encounter with both Logan and Ryan, after Rachel showed up, I never heard from Logan or Ryan again. I don't know what happened, and to this day, I have concluded Rachel led them into a state of peace.
When Rachel spoke up during this encounter with Ryan, I was definitely surprised. But this wouldn't be the last time I ever heard from Rachel. Every now and then she pops in during an investigation, either at this house or when I'm at another location. I don't know if she's watching after me. I don't know if she follows me. But I do encounter her. I don't know how these spirit realms work. When these spirits said that she was gone and she was at peace, I kind of felt like what they meant was she let go of this house. She let go of everything that troubled her about this house. She let go of the things that bothered her. She knew that we knew what happened to her. But I do want to talk about something before I close this video out. And I'm going to say something from the heart about these encounters with these suicide victims. I was doing an investigation here in Carmel at a certain location. I was outside in front of this location talking with the resident who was on this investigation with me. We were talking about some of the dark stuff that's happened in Carmel, and we got on the subject of suicide and teens committing suicide, how this was very troubling. That night, I went home and I felt just kind of this dark feeling about all these teens that take their lives. I get a message from the person that was standing with me the day before. He sends me a message and tells me last night his neighbor, their teen son, committed suicide. I was in total shock. I'm like, there's no way. We were just standing outside, just a few feet away from their house, talking about teens that committed suicide. And the next day, I get that message that the neighbor's son, teen son, commits suicide. I didn't know who this kid was, but I can tell you right now, that really crushed me. Because I know what these spirits go through, the ones that committed suicide. Some of them in the realm still want to die, and they can't. I want people to understand something. These encounters are very real. What these spirits say is very real. And if you are contemplating suicide, if you are thinking about taking your life, you need to understand, you may kill your body off, but your spirit continues on. Everything that's troubling you, everything that's bothering you, will follow you in the afterlife. Don't take your life. Do something about your depression or whatever's bothering you now. Take care of it while you're in this life. Because I'm going to tell you something. What you're going through is not going to last forever. You will get through it eventually. But if you are at the point where you just don't want to go on, you need to get some help. You need to find somebody that you trust and talk with them about it. Or you can call this number I put right here. Talk to somebody. I don't want to see you go in to the afterlife with everything that's troubling you, following you into the spirit realms. Because based on what these spirits said, everything that troubled them didn't come to an end. All the reasons why they took their life, the things that bothered them, it followed them into the afterlife. I'm not sure what happened to Logan and Ryan. I'm not sure what happened when Rachel stepped in. I didn't hear from them again. But we don't understand what happens in the afterlife. We don't understand what happens in these spirit realms. I hope Ryan and Logan's at peace. I don't know. But I can tell you, we all have gone through dark things in our lives, even as young adults. I went through dark stuff as a young adult. I went through some very dark things. I never thought about taking my life, but I did wonder why my mother just didn't drop me on my head when I was an infant. It would have been a whole lot easier. At least that's what you feel like at the time. When you feel like there's absolutely no more hope left and you're so alone in the state of mind that you're in, and nobody would ever understand, and you will never escape that state of mind that you're in. I want to tell you right now, you will escape that. Life is like a boxing match. We may get knocked down quite a few times during the fight, but just don't lay there. Get back up and fight again. Don't give up the fight, because I'm telling you, you will overcome it. Whatever you're going through, you will overcome it. We all go through seasons in our lives. We all encounter dark things in our lives, depressions. It's the cycles of life. Life is short as it is. If you end your life at such a young age, you will never know the joys of adulthood. You will never give yourself that opportunity to really learn what life is all about, because life isn't always bad. There's always good moments in life, always happy moments. And every time you go through something again, once you overcame the dark depression that you went through and you overcome it, when it comes up again, you'll be stronger. It'll be easier to deal with. And then later on, when another bout comes up again, now you have experience, you have knowledge, you have wisdom. You know how to counter-react when depression comes. But it's not worth taking your life. And I want you to remember this. I want you to understand. You may end your flesh by committing suicide, but your spirit, everything about you goes into the afterlife. Find help. Don't take your life.
Two young ladies. One, it was said that she committed suicide. The other is a murder victim who, like Rachel, wants her remains found.
What? Jenny, is that you that's saying help?
The spirits in the house lead me to other locations.
Did you die right where I'm standing? Is there somebody right in here right now?
I will directly encounter pure evil.
Is there more victims that he killed? How did you die? Evil.
And these entities are angry.
I'm going to Etna to try to locate where Jenny's body's at.
I'll be a son of a bitch.